Dragon Ball Sparking Zero on the Steam Deck. So first of all, thanks to Bandai Namco for providing a code of the game. The game releases, I think, tomorrow for the standard edition users, but if you have the Ultimate Edition or the deluxe one, you'll be able to play it right now. We don't have any info on deck compatibility, but this is running on Proton 9.0. Well, what to say, it's a UE5 game, doesn't have FSR, doesn't have any of those famous upscalers, but there's a few issues that I need to mention. First of all, 67% resolution. This will be like quality FSR, quote unquote. And the settings are something like this. Especially effects, I recommend you put them on low. This is a massive performance boost, at least for me. And let's get into combat very quickly, because I need to mention a couple things. So while the game actually works, there's an issue with the frame rate and the shader compilation. The first time you launch the game and start playing, they'll be stuttering all over the place due to the game compiling shaders on the go. It doesn't compile shaders before launching. And you might say, oh, this is fine. It's between 30 and 60, blah, 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 blah. Well, that's not happening. The game has game speed tied to the frame rate, unfortunately, so if you're below 60, the game starts slowing down like other fighting games. Also, when you lower the resolution internally, you get more like less of a anime look, I would say, to it. But as you can see, it's pretty inconsistent when it comes to the frame rate. It's all over the place. It's between 30 and 60, depending on what's going on. Effects going to the camera most of all. So the more you play, the less stutter there will be due to the shaders compiling, which is the biggest issue in my opinion. But the game slowing down, at least for me, makes it unplayable. I would say targeting 40 to 45 makes more sense. The GPU usage is pretty low, so I'm guessing we're CPU bound on this one actually. But again, the issue is that the game slows down below 60, so there is some people on the internet that found a way to improve on this. So let me show you how to do it and play the game properly. So to get started, go into desktop mode, open the file explorer. In home, go to deck.local. If you don't see this folder, make sure that this is enabled, show hidden files. .local, share, Steam. And here on Steam, you're going to see Steam apps, compat data. Once you're in compat data, you'll see a lot of weird folders with numbers. This one is the one for this game. Open it, PFX, Drive C, users, Steam user. Then we go, let's order this like this, app data, local, Sparking Zero, saved, config, Windows, and there you go, we got the engine.ini. This is the file that we want to update. Open it, scroll all the way down. After scrolling all the way down, hit this line, open your browser, and there's a link in the description for this one. Stutter and high FPS slowdown fix. Thanks to JVixino TTV for that. So this should pre-compile shaders when the game launches. Personally, I don't know if this is working, but we grab this, we copy, then we go back here and we paste what he did. And the fixed frame rate, this is the frame rate that you are confident that you want to reach. So if it goes, in this case, below 100, the game will slow down. So we put it at 40 if you have an LCD Steam Deck, or 45 if you are on the OLED. So in this case, I'm putting it at 45. So go here and put it 45, 45, 45. And again, if it drops below 45, it'll slow down. In my opinion, on the OLED Steam Deck, you should be able to hit this with a few adjustments, but on the LCD, put it at 40. 40 is here, also on the OLED is a good idea if you want to, but let's target 45. And yeah, now after you put this like you wanted to do it, go to save, and you're done. You now have to launch the game again. Alright, now with those adjustments, I'm pretty confident we can reach the maintain 45. So first of all, you'll see that the game is locked to 45. Make a per game profile and put it to a frame rate matching what we chose. If you chose 40, put this at 40, otherwise it will look weird. So 45, still at 90 Hz, 800p, 70% resolution. I think we should be able to do it. Shadows on low, post-processing medium, effects on low to have a big boost in performance. And that's basically it. Those are the settings, without a doubt. Also, the GPU clock is pretty low, so I'm guessing in those 15 watts that we have available for the CPU and GPU to share, the CPU is like, no, let me do it correctly. So yeah, if the CPU is asking for more clock speed, the GPU will suffer. But as you can see, this is way better in comparison to before. We don't have as many frame time spikes. But again, even on my PC, it seems to be the shader compilation stuff. But if you want it to be a little bit more stable, as you can see, the GPU clock is pretty low. Well, you can manually set the GPU clock to something higher. I'll put it at maybe 1100. So the CPU will suffer a little, the game might slow down when compiling shaders a bit further, but it should be more stable when it comes to frame time. Let's see. Yep, and as you can see, it's not even using the entire GPU. I'm guessing, again, the main limiting factor here is probably the CPU, actually, which is pretty interesting. But the game, what matters now is that since we chose this this frame rate, 45, the game won't slow down unless you drop below 45. So while the frame time is not perfect, it feels the game doesn't slow down like before. Because the game is coded, I guess, to run at 60, and if you drop below 60, good luck. But again, even on PC, I'm not able to keep my frame time in check. The frame time is still a bit spiky, but it feels way better to play like this. And the game looks amazing on the smaller screen, despite being not native, to say it in some way. And we're also going to try native resolution, don't worry, I gotcha. And he's done. He's reduced to atoms, completely dead, never to be seen again. But again, as you can see, GPU usage is fine. When effects show up, it goes way higher on the GPU side. But as soon as it starts doing the shader compilation thing, the CPU starts suffering, so it's taking the clocks away from the GPU. Match, in the cutscenes, it had a lot of stutters. Again, I'm guessing, once again, that it's compiling the shaders in the background. They need to add a shader compilation pass. But what's the issue with this solution about locking it to 45 so it doesn't slow down in the config file? You cannot play online if you're using this configuration, unfortunately. Hopefully in the future we get an official way to be able to play the game at less than 60 without slowdown, but as of right now, you're sacrificing online play. So if you care about online, you're probably just not going to be playing this on Steam Deck. Since I'm more of a campaign guy, it's not a big issue for me, but I know a lot of people want to play this online. So, yeah. At least when it comes to the game itself, I don't like the game slowing down, so 45 is a great way to do it with 1100 MHz on the GPU clock. Alright, so we've been playing at 70% resolution in order to have room to spare to reach 45, but what happens if we try native? Again, if we drop below 45, the game will slow down now. Maybe you want to put it at 40 if you're trying to do native. I think we're still not there If you want to play at 30, that's also an option, so keep that in mind. If you put a maximum of 30 in the config file, the game won't slow down at 30 FPS, and you can probably do native. But let's play it like this and see what happens. Let's load on the level. I'm barely reaching 42 and the GPU is maxed out, so let's increase the GPU clock to 1500 maybe? Yeah, that should do it. This probably will mean that the CPU is going to suffer, but let's leave it 100 MHz to spare so the CPU has a little bit more power available to it. So 1500 MHz on the GPU now with native resolution looks way better, especially the game trying to look like the anime. The edges of the character at native resolution make this look way better. It was clearly not meant to be played with upscaling. So let's see, 1500 MHz on the GPU, native resolution, targeting 45. Yeah, if you're playing native, I'll probably recommend you lock it to 40 actually. It looks significantly better. Yeah, this game especially looks incredibly good at native. Again, since it's trying to look like the anime, like a drawing, the higher resolution here makes the outlines of the characters more defined, so I'll probably sacrifice the frame rate to get it to 40. So if we want to do 45, lower the resolution scale to 70. So yeah, that should do the job. Not perfect, but pretty damn close if I say so myself. 45 feels good enough. But the best thing is it doesn't slow down. But the bad part is that, well, you cannot play online. So if you care about online play, there it goes. You cannot yet play online. Hopefully, officially at some point we get an update to fix that, to make it an option maybe. But at the moment you need to edit that config file as I showed you at the beginning. I forgot to mention, if you go to the brightness options, you can enable HDR. So if you have an OLED Steam Deck, you can do it. So now you have the option to increase the brightness to a ridiculous amount. I haven't really played much with HDR on this one. I forgot we had that option. Looks a little bit less saturated when it comes to colors. Yeah, it looks a bit weird, I'd say. But the option is there on the OLED Steam Deck. Alright, we're now on HDR. I put CPU versus CPU to make it more interesting, I guess. So I can talk to you while the game plays itself. So HDR, I maybe increase the brightness. It looks the brightness of the HDR in the options. Because, well, while the effects are super bright and it looks awesome, I think we need way higher brightness, but the color saturation is, yeah, it's not the same. I'm not sure if I'm doing something wrong with the settings. So if you have an OLED Steam Deck, I don't think HDR is necessary. Maybe increase the, what's the name of this? Increase the brightness inside the game's HDR thing, and you should be good. But again, 40 or 45, and you should be good. But as you can see, we're CPU limited, funnily enough. The GPU clock by itself doesn't go very high. So yeah, HDR loses a lot of color. It happens in some games, so this one seems to be one of them. But the effects of the characters, when they are way brighter with HDR, it looks amazing. The thing is, I wish there was more color. So again, if I'm doing something wrong, let me know in the comments. But that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see ya next time. Bye guys, long live the Steam Deck.